this episode, franchise After Dark. The time is to 9:23 p.m. And I am...
Ding!
What?
Ding, ding, ding!
Oh, I get it. Like the beginning of a boxing match.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome to round 10 of the bonus episodes of the franchise.
Is this episode our 10th bonus episode?
So,
That's a lot of episodes. Hey, listen, we're going to talk about Creed 2, and this movie came out ages ago. But because we've got loyalty inside our DNA, we're going to be completists and cover this movie.
it's true. It's true. It took us a while to get around to figuring out how to do it, but we were here. It's real fresh in our minds. It's about a month for Dan, about 2 weeks for me.
This movie came out November 21st, 2018, and I saw it that day.
Yeah, I think I saw it first or second day of December, so it's been a while.
I do remember my movie-going experience, though, Henry. It was an unforgettable experience. Have we said our names? I'm Daniel Ehrenberg, your host with the most, and here's your Henry Papali, second best.
That's it. That's how I do it. Yeah. Hank with the bank.
Hank the Tank. Remember we used to call you that.
Right. Hank the Tank, Hammer and Hank, Hank with the bank. I don't know.
What will your boxing name be?
Well, I think it would be inevitable. It'd have to be like Hammer and Hank, Hank the Hammer, right?
No,
Yeah.
I think you'd have to be Irish. It would be an Irish thing.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'll have to think of something.
Yeah.
Old Southpaw Hank.
You'd be like
Does it?
the clobbering Celt.
Here- Oh, that's good. Hammer and Hamish Hank.
Sure. I could just be the D train.
Yeah, it would work.
It would.
Dynamite Dan.
What's that?
Dynamite Dan.
Sodomite Dan?
That's your mind. That's it. Dynamite.
Oh, got it. Okay. The Dynamite Kid. That was a wrestler, right?
Boy, yeah, right.
He died recently, I'm pretty sure. They all die.
Dude. They do. They all die.
They all die.
They all float.
Yeah. God, thank God The Rock got out of there, huh? He'd be dead already.
There is no doubt he'd be dead. Yeah.
Sure. Recording this on a Monday night. Monday Night Raw is happening right now. But we're not talking wrestling tonight. We're talking boxing. We're talking about the WBA champion, Adonis Creed.
Adonis Creed. That's right. Yeah, for sure.
So, Creed 2 it came out a month ago. It's directed by a new guy, Stephen Caple Jr., because Coogler was off doing, that movie.
He was in Wakanda.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so this guy, he's an indie guy. The Land was a thing he did. I don't know much about him.
Yeah, I was looking him up the night I saw it, and I couldn't tell. I didn't know anything, man. Yeah, but I am interested in your opinion on this movie, and I was interested that you said twice to me in private text you were real curious about my opinion. It's not that we don't always ask that of each other, folks. I mean, we always are curious about each other's opinion, but I was wondering why this in particular, Dan, you were so interested in what I was going to say.
Okay, I saw this movie. Okay, so just to finish the stats really quickly.
Sure.
It was story. Sylvester Stallone made this movie through sheer force of will. He wanted another Rocky movie to come out. He fucking made it happen. He wrote this movie with a story credit by Chio Hodari Coker, who is the showrunner over there on Luke Cage, recently canceled by Netflix.
Oh, okay. All right.
They got $50 million to make this movie mid-budget, and it's been kind of a hit so far. 131, and it's still in the top 5. So,
Right?
yeah, no, I mean, frankly, when they made Creed, I said there would never be a Creed 2, and I was incorrect. And now I think there's going to be a Creed 3.
Oh, I definitely think there's going to be a Creed 3. I mean, I think it's going to be a whole new thing now. Yeah,
I say they just keep making them direct sequels to Rocky movies. Have it be like Thunder Lips' son in this one.
100%. Yeah. Or Clubber Lang.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'd be into it. So, or, have Creed fight Rocky's son or something. That little boy.
Oh, his grandson?
Oh, his grandson, yeah. Because his son's a pacifist. He doesn't fight.
Yeah, but that would be more entertaining, wouldn't it? It'd be kind of like watching babyhead Andrew Garfield in that Mel Gibson movie not wanting to fight in World War II.
Yeah, I would love to see a Hacksaw Ridge boxing movie where it's just like a guy hanging around the ring. I'm not going to fight you, man, but if you happen to, fall down into the turnbuckle, I'll tape you up.
Right. He'll be the corner man, but, nothing else.
So, so I went to go see this movie the day it came out. I was pretty excited to see it.
Yeah.
I saw it on a day I saw 3 movies, Henry.
Jesus.
I checked it out over there at the Union Square. I walk into the theater.
The biggie one, or the littler one?
The big one.
Okay.
The Regal. So
right.
I step in there. I see there's like 50 kids. All right, in the lobby, just 50 kids.
Oh boy.
So I walk in there. I'm like, God, I wonder what movie they're going to see. So I get on the line. It's just one guy online ahead of me. I want to pay in cash, so I go up to the the cashiers. I don't want to use the machines.
Right.
So I get behind this dude. I quickly realize it's the teacher.
Oh shit!
Of these 50 kids, or he's the teacher that's been designated to buy the tickets. So he's purchasing a ream of tickets.
Oh my!
Okay. And before he can get them, since I'm the only other person online, I go, hey man, I'm just getting one ticket. You mind if I just juke ahead of you real quick?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
The guy goes, there's machines right there.
Wow.
The balls on this guy. I go, hey,
wow.
I'm paying in cash. I keep being nice. I'm paying in cash. Is that okay? And he goes, guess you're going to have to wait. It was one of those. He's like a fuck. I swear to God, it was like a villain in a Karate Kid movie or something.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh my
guess
God.
You're going to have to wait.
Fuck.
So I did. I waited. And I was running a little late to the movie. I'm just waiting there for 10 minutes while they print out 50 tickets one by one from that little crevice in the counter.
That's fucked up. And I mean, honestly, dude, why wouldn't the cashier go, hey, you mind if I just take this guy behind you real quick?
No, she didn't even give me an apologetic glance.
Really?
That's what I was looking for. One of those glances I have to do this.
Right.
Nothing like that.
It would have gone a long way. A little way.
Would have gone some way.
Wow, dude.
So I get up there. Finally. I get in to see Creed 2. And they're starting to seat some people. And I'm like, that's odd. That's the movie the 50 kids were going to see.
Obviously. I knew that was coming.
Well, of course you did. So, but I'm like, what are they learning from Creed 2?
Yeah.
It's a class. Yeah. It's the middle of the fall. It's not like it's a summer camp. It's these kids. They're on a school trip to see Creed 2.
They're learning how to throw in the towel.
And, in like the first 5 minutes of this movie, there's a fucking sex scene, and so these kids are just whistling.
Oh my! Like, what age are we talking here?
It's they're like the worst age. I want to say they're like 14.
Oh, oof. Oof.
So just anything that happens, any punch they're freaking out over, any sexual reference, they're ooh.
Oh Lord,
it was brutal.
That's tough, man.
And I couldn't sit. I like the back row.
Yeah, you do.
But the back, like, you know how theaters are cut up? There's like the riser seats, and then the seats on the ground. So the kids took up all of the riser seats.
Perfect.
So I had to sit in the back row of the regular people seats, and it was annoying. It was really bad. I was cutting the theater in half, and this fucking teacher is sitting behind me in one of the wheelchair seats.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow. That's not a good example of a good teacher there at all.
No, it was a brutal film going experience. That said, Henry.
Yes.
I sat and quickly got into the movie, and I was wrapped for 2 hours and 10 minutes while I watched what I have come to know as the third best Rocky movie.
Yeah, we had planned this so long ago that I'd actually re-listened to the end of our Rocky coverage, the last like 10 minutes where we ranked them. Which isn't helpful now because I wrote them down and then I couldn't find them.
Well, I know that I had Creed at number 1 and Rocky 1 at number 2.
And I was reversed.
Right.
Other than that, I could probably wing it, but let me tell you my experience and then I'll tell you my feeling.
I'd love to hear your story.
And then we'll get into it. Not much of a story, as usual, and I'm grateful. I'm sorry for Dan's experience, as usual. My apologies for the theme song for that. Dan,
but
we go experience.
Can I just say nothing about going to see Creed 2 could have prepared me for the worst part of my day when, after I saw Creed 2, I snuck in to see Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ooh.
The worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, really?
Oh,
is it that bad?
It was brutally bad, Henry. Every scene in that movie is just this fucking band, and they're like describing how they came up with some fucking. It's like, hey, you know, what would be great, Freddie? And every so often, Freddie is like, he like looks longingly at a gay guy because he hasn't admitted that he's gay yet, and then like someone in the band will be like, what would be great? A song that's like boom boom. Boom, boom, and everyone's like, that's a great idea. Fucking great idea. Let's do it.
Right.
That's the whole movie. And then
the creation of the song. Oh, boy.
And then at the end of the movie, Henry, so you know how Queen played at Live Aid?
Yeah, I know this because I know 3 people who saw it who loved it.
Henry, they played 4 songs at Live Aid in real life.
All right.
They showed them do all 4.
Really?
The last half hour of the movie is them performing Live Aid in its entirety. Lip syncing.
Why not just lip syncing? What'd they have? The guy who played Freddie Mercury replace his voice?
Rami Malek, who is admittedly very good in this movie.
Sure, I'm sure, yeah.
He doesn't sing like Freddie Mercury, so in the singing parts of the movie, which are a lot of the movie, they're just using Queen recordings.
Right. Okay. Oof. Now, admittedly, the 3 people that I know that saw the movie are huge Queen fans.
I think you gotta be, Henry.
Yeah.
This is like the little minutia of Queen. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Them sitting around these rooms discussing, like, what would be great? A song about how we're the champions. It's horrible. Every scene in this movie starts with someone saying, "You know, it would be great," and then they come up with a song.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I think if I was, I don't know, they made a movie about AC/DC, if they did that, I feel like I'd be hyper fucking down on it and critical. Just because they made a movie about my favorite band would put me already on the defense. But I don't know. Maybe Queen's a different type.
It's such a loving portrait of Queen.
Is it just a complete hagiography? I mean, is that
kind of? But also, Freddie Mercury seems like a self-centered piece of shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So by the end of the movie, I was like sick of Queen. I never wanted to hear them again, and I thought Freddie Mercury sucked.
Yeah. Right. So mission not accomplished.
And it was a terrible movie.
Why'd you want to? You just wanted, you figured out what the hell. I mean, you're not a big Queen. I've never heard you really talk much about that.
Listen, it was, I couldn't get movies to line up that day, and I wanted to see Widows, and that was coming later, and so I needed something to fill the time.
Have you seen that yet?
I saw it after Bohemian Rhapsody.
Fuck. It's unforgivable that I haven't seen that yet.
It's fucking great.
I bet it is, and I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Well, wow. Yeah, I got nothing on that story. I went to my least favorite theater again, but I had to for time reasons and proximity. But I had a real nice time. It's the theater where the flashlight guy goes up and down the aisle, every 7.5 minutes, but he only went up and down once.
Sure, he's got to see what's going on in there.
He's got to see what's going on. There's a lot happening where I live, and the good crowd, not too crowded. Real dingy, shitty seats in the theater, but I dealt. And so then I sat down with my $11 popcorn. I hadn't bought snacks from a stand in quite some time, so I figured I don't really care. I'm doing it this time. And it was a Regal as well. And I then also proceeded to watch what I consider to be the second best rock movie.
Henry.
Yeah.
You like this more than the first Creed?
I did.
That's a crazy opinion. Listen, on the one hand, I'm relieved and excited that you loved Creed 2 as much as I did. On the other hand, come on, it's not as good as the first one.
Well, you know what it is? I think it was one of those things where this movie, no pun intended, was sort of like off and running. And I think it was also another example of kind of low expectations because I was pretty disappointed that Coogler wasn't directing it.
And so, you can feel his absence.
Well, I liked the direction.
No, I did too, but it certainly did not. It felt more of a piece with the Rocky franchise than it did with the Creed franchise.
Well, maybe so. But I really think that what pulled me in was I just, there's something about it. I really loved the idea of bringing in a story from the previous installments, and I love the idea that they know that Rocky IV is just, I mean, look, everybody loves that movie. I mean, we talked at length about it, but I mean, it's just, it kind of made me happy because it's, so many, critics and stuff. At the time, it was like a 1-star movie and all that kind of shit. But over time, it's just, you throw it on and it's one of the Rocky movies I just watched over and over. And it's got, let's face it, after Apollo Creed, the best fucking villain.
Well, see, you paused before villain. And the reason for that is the Rocky franchise didn't start out with villains. Apollo was not a villain.
No.
The best villain of the Rocky franchise is Ivan Drago.
Well, but I actually paused. It wasn't that intellectual, my pause. I was thinking of saying opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I figured villain was more apropos. But, I mean, he is a villain in Rocky IV.
He is, 100%.
Right. But before, like, just as the movie was getting started, I mean, I went into it with liking that, knowing that much about it. I didn't read much about it besides that, but I liked that that's what we were doing. I thought that was just such a cool. I thought it was kind of ballsy, to be honest, and I was kind of glad.
Yeah, it's a
didn't go for a completely original story. They went for like what they've established in the first Creed, which is fantastic, and I loved it, but then took it to like this other level, and I thought the direction was excellent, and I just really, really dug it. It's not that I liked it like a million times more at all, but I mean, if I was ranking, I really, really dug it. I really, really dug it. I don't know if it's probably not a better film, but I think I definitely enjoyed it more. I did on the first viewing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an exciting movie, and it's a very weird idea for a movie that only someone of Sylvester Stallone's ilk could dream up. It is a direct sequel both to Creed, which is a legitimate Ryan Coogler film, and Rocky IV, which is one of the craziest movies ever made. So we're talking about making it's the world of Creed, which has been established as down to earth and gritty and real, but we're also sequelizing a movie that has a polysex robot and Rocky climbing a mountain freehand and ending the Cold War by defeating a giant villain man.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And somehow it works.
I mean, that's what's so amazing to me, and that's why I admire its boldness in that it could have been a goddamn disaster. I mean, trying to mix those, and if it had anything in it that was missing, it was actually something I read afterwards that was cut out. And it was funny because I thought during the movie, I was like, I wonder if we're going to get something like this. And then I read it was cut, which was a scene after the movie with Drago talking to Rocky and talking to Adonis briefly.
I mean, what are we going to do? Like, have Rocky and it end the movie like Rocky 3, where Rocky and Drago punch each other in a painting? It ends.
Wait. No, you're mixing. The painting is Apollo Creed, and
I'm saying, what are they going to do that with Drago?
No, it was good. There was like apparently a scene of some sort of like quiet, unmelodramatic reconciliation, acknowledgement of
but
respect.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
That's why it ultimately didn't bother
Rocky
me.
says it's your time now. The Drago storyline is not about Drago giving Creed respect. It's about Drago giving his son Victor respect.
No, that's correct. Yeah, that's right.
And we learn that the true villain in the Drago family is, in fact, what?
That's a big bitch.
Yeah, Brigitte Nielsen. Holy shit, Henry. That's the best moment in this entire movie. When Brigitte Nielsen shows up to the fight to support her son, and then when her son's getting his ass kicked, she just leaves.
Takes off. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you this, because this is funny. I was trying to remember, maybe I think I'm not making this up in my own memory bank. I've always kind of wondered a little bit when I watch Rocky IV, what happened to Drago after that? What happened to his marriage? Did his wife ditch him? Because she certainly doesn't ditch him in Rocky IV. Like, you don't see it. She's kind of tending to his wounds a little bit. So you don't see that.
Listen, Rocky ended the Cold War in that movie. That's canon, Henry. So the Soviet Union immediately collapses after Rocky Balboa defeats Ivan Drago in combat, and then Ivan is left to make his way in this country of Russia. And, so it makes sense. He'd raise his son Victor in poverty while Brigitte Nielsen was off hobnobbing with Stalin.
Totally. Stalin.
I think I meant Putin.
Yes, right.
Like, if we're taking this literally, the character Brigitte Nielsen plays has definitely fucked Putin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When he was in the KGB. I mean, he still is, but when he was in the KGB. Yeah. Right.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. No, she's definitely. I mean, she's. I don't even remember the guy, but she's right. She's married to or seeing like the whatever they call him, the fucking one of the biggest government people and all that shit. So I mean,
the head czar.
The head czar. Is that who it is? Okay.
Sure. I don't know.
Tsar Nicholas.
Sure.
Our grasp of Russian history is absolutely astonishing.
I've watched 3 episodes of the Romanovs. So I know what's going on.
I read Crime and Punishment, man.
You did?
No, I didn't. I know a lot about Russian music. That's my real Russian knowledge.
Sure, I like Ravel.
He's French. Yeah.
Shostakovich?
Shostakovich, Mussorgsky, Tchaikovsky, Prokofiev. You know, great stuff. Some of my favorites. Tchaikovsky, top 10 of Henry's favorite composers. There you go.
Oh. I don't know what goes on over there. I've watched The Americans.
Yeah, right, me too. Hey, and that took place in the 80s.
Sure. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Is there a Rocky IV reference in any of the 5 seasons?
There must be.
I bet there is.
I feel like that kid Henry would be into it.
Yeah, there's got to be a throwaway scene in there where one of them's watching Rocky IV.
Yeah, maybe Noah Emmerich.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think everybody also. I think another thing I really liked about the movie is I really liked. I thought that Michael B. Jordan was even better in this.
I kind of agree. He's so comfortable in the role now. It's like he's not even trying. He just is Creed. It's sort of it kind of felt like an actor when he's like in the 3rd season of a TV show. Like he just is that character. He doesn't even have to try anymore.
Yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan is he's just a movie star and a half.
Love him so much.
I want to see everything he's ever in for the rest of his career.
You okay over there? You need a Kleenex?
I also want to say a thing. We're what?
Valkyrie was great in it too. She's great again.
Well, I was just about to talk about it. Tessa Thompson. She it would have been easy to lose that character in the shuffle here. You got the Drago thing going on. You're making a Rocky IV sequel. You got to give Stallone screen time. You know, Michael B. Jordan's tearing it up. Tessa Thompson, I loved in the first Creed, but she was the one storyline like I didn't even remember. Like I genuinely needed reminders. Like, oh right, she's a musician. Oh yeah, she's going deaf.
Right.
All that stuff. Right. And I really think they serviced her character wonderfully in this movie, to the point where Tessa Thompson, my friend, is my MVP.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's really great in this. To the point where that fucking scene at the end, like at the beginning of the fight, where, you know, because she's pregnant in this movie, which is such an easy storyline to give a female character.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, they get engaged. It's all the shit you'd expect, but she's getting, her hearing's getting worse, and but like her music's important to her. And then like as like a show of support in the end of the movie, and just like a show of support for each other in like a healthy grown-up relationship, she sings Adonis out to the ring, which could have been the cheesiest fucking shit. It could have been the ghost blowjob of this movie.
Really could have.
And
I was worried when I first saw it. Yeah.
Instead, I got chills. It was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Really? Yeah. I was worried when I could see it coming, but it worked. And I think that's because of the performances. I also think the direction in that scene wasn't overdone. And there was a little bit of a nice homage that Adonis has got a little of the showman in him, like his father.
Definitely,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Definitely commenting on that, and I thought that was cool.
They're not telling you, like, and this is a thing people talk about a lot especially with like black athletes as like role model figures, where like they have to like act like really dignified and nice, and like you can put on a show and still be a role model. It's fucking bullshit. And so for
it's a racist thing. That the whole thing is a racist concept.
Of course it is. But I mean, that's how it's been for a while. And so like I love that he's able to come out and put on a show and be this like charismatic star and still be treated as like the hero. He doesn't have to be like obsessed with his own humility.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. Yeah. It doesn't enter the picture. Like he's just who he is, and it is what it is, and he's living his life, and he's able to just be. No, they don't make any apologies. It's like, fuck you, whatever. This is who Adonis Creed is. This is what he's going to do. And it's a great moving thing to have his wife at that point, or just fiance.
I think they're married at that point.
Okay. Yeah. To like introduce him in such a manner.
Yeah.
And it's very, very cool. And I understand that MVP. I really want to talk briefly because I did really love the scene in the beginning in the restaurant. I love Rocky watching the fight alone in his bar. I love.
Is this the confrontation with Drago?
Yeah, I mean that was just, I have to say, kind of electrifying.
By the way, that restaurant's still in business. Good for you, Rocky. It's been a while. It's 12 years since Rocky Balboa. You're keeping that baby open.
That is not an easy business to get into.
No, it isn't. I think Adrian's can now be considered a success.
I would say so. I mean, isn't there a statistic out there? 75 to 80% of all restaurants go under in the first year.
Yeah.
So he's obviously doing he's doing pretty well. I mean, despite it wouldn't look as such given his digs, but hey.
I'm going to assume that at some point Rocky Balboa has been a guest judge on an episode of a Top Chef season filmed in Philadelphia.
Right. So what you're saying is he's got some extra cash flow coming in too.
That's right. Yeah. I think he's a successful restaurateur.
Right. And maybe, who knows, maybe he's submitted some of his poetry to the New Yorker.
That's right.
On the side.
Sure.
I did the deed for Adonis Creed. He doesn't smoke weed.
It's pretty good.
Apollo Creed.
All right, what else you got?
And I don't need to be on speed. You gotta fight with your might, 'cause it's your right. You'll see the light.
Oh.
Pretty good, right?
It's not bad.
I wrote it down.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, the confrontation, which in its mutedness, wow, it was great. I mean, I love that Ivan Drago. Dolph Lundgren, man. What the fuck? Fucking guy. It's like, the guy's, like, I told you this when we did the Rocky IV. He's got like a fucking PhD from some Swedish university in chemistry. I mean, he's like this really brilliant guy. He's not a bad actor at all. I'm sorry, he's not. But, I don't know what happened. He could have had a neat little weird maybe career, but I honestly don't think he was interested. What do you think?
Of course he was interested. He has like 1,000 credits on IMDb and like direct-to-video movies.
They're all direct-to-video. Right.
Yeah, so what are you saying? He wasn't interested in being a movie star? He really wanted to make direct-to-video movies?
Here's what I'm saying. why didn't someone like Tarantino, when he goes through his old video store files of movie stars,
He's not that kind of actor. He can't do dialogue.
Can't do dialogue. He does it in this movie. That scene,
Yeah, you can give him 2 scenes in a movie. He'll acquit himself nicely.
Oh, I thought he was great.
He is great. I love Dolph Lundgren too. I love Dolph Lundgren too. But what are you gonna do? Make him fucking Bill and Kill Bill? Like, he can't do that.
No, I guess not. I kind of felt sorry for him because it was just cool to see him, and in something that wasn't The Expendables. Sure. It was just kind of cool to see him sitting at a restaurant table explaining his tragic fucking existence to Rocky.
And being an asshole to his son. And you know what? He sells that moment at the end when he throws in the towel for his son.
Oh, now that gave me chills.
That's a great moment. That's giving me chills right now talking about it.
It was really, really powerful. And it was what I did like about that, and this is another thing. I'm giving the director a lot of credit, and I didn't realize I would. But, that's a moment that is not lingered on. It's not really set up that much.
Right. It's not like a music cue happens at that moment that's like this huge, crash cymbal.
Right. If you turned your head to somebody who's kicking your seat behind you, you'd miss it. I mean, it's pretty quick. And I mean, it's done in such a way as to harken back to stuff. And I mean, it's so metaphorical and analogous to things that should have happened in Rocky IV.
He's throwing in the towel for all the anger he's had for all these years. And in that moment, only then does he truly become a father to his son.
I mean, I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but I don't think, the voices, but the sentiments you're giving are actually true.
Yeah.
You think it's heavy-handed? You don't think?
No, I love it. Come on, it's just how I talk.
It's your voice.
Yeah.
No, it's a great movie, folks. It's really good.
I really love it.
I was very happy with it. I will definitely watch it again.
Oh, this is going to be rewatchable to the max, Henry. The same way we talked about when we talk about the Rocky sequels, where so Rocky 2 is technically better than Rocky 3, but if you're going to watch Rocky 2, just watch Rocky. Whereas if Rocky 3 comes on, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch this crazy movie with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Yeah, but I mean, even to me, I don't remember my rankings, but I mean, I do remember liking Rocky Balboa a good deal. I don't remember anything.
Sure, but I can't imagine I'm going to sit down and if Rocky Balboa was on TV, I might skip by it. But if I came across Creed 2, you better believe I'm sitting down and watching that baby.
Well, I have to say, I think at this point there's four Rocky movies in my life that I would rewatch with no problem. And
I'd rewatch all of them but one. But the ones that I'd really sit down and I'm going to watch this right now are the two Creeds, Rocky and Rocky IV.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Those are the 4 that I would watch. I don't know that I would watch all of them again. I mean, you obviously mean everything but 5.
Yeah, I like them all except 5.
Well, me too. But
it's a good franchise.
It is a good franchise.
Listen, this is a franchise that started in 1975. We're talking about an installment in 2018, and we're giving it a positive review here.
Yeah, ooh, you almost gave away.
4 stars.
I can't really go 3 episodes in a row giving a movie a 5-star, can I?
Do you want to give this 5 stars?
I don't know. I'm almost having contrarian feeling towards the rankings lately. No, I mean, all right. You. I'm gonna let you. It's a 4-star movie.
Yeah, 100%.
My heart wants to give it a 5, but why not a 5?
Because it's silly. Because it's a sequel. It's very unnecessary. Creed felt like this vital piece of art that was a perfect capper to the Rocky series while being a really great movie on its own merits. Whereas Creed 2 is just sort of like, Creed was a hit. Why don't we make a Creed 2? And somehow they ended up with this weird Rocky 4 sequel that is better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of specious because everything you just said is based on not the actual movie that was made. You're basing it on what the idea behind it was. And I mean, that's not going to be my guiding principle here. I mean, Creed was not.
That's fair, but okay, fine. It's a little slow at parts. Sylvester Stallone disappears for a huge chunk of the movie. The stuff, the Tessa Thompson pregnancy stuff, I could have lived without. The stuff with Felicia Rashad in L.A. was just okay. It's just, it doesn't fire on all cylinders for its entire 2 hour and 10-minute running time, but it's really great.
Yeah. Okay, and then I am remembering that I'm remembering it's important because it's been a while since we saw it, so it's a little hard for me to gin up as much enthusiasm. But I do remember having the thought that final maybe 30 minutes, I don't know. I mean, essentially from the last fight on, whatever, does not step wrong. But,
no,
but I had that thought because of what I had seen previously in the movie, which I was really, really enjoying, but then had that like switch go on my head where it was like, oh, okay, now we're like getting into where I'm like, this is just fucking great.
You know where it really hit another level for me, Henry?
Where?
So Rocky is like calling his son throughout the movie and not getting in touch with him.
Right.
And I'm like, is Milo Ventimiglia going to show up in this movie? And then at the end of the movie, he's walking up to this door, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm about to see Milo Ventimiglia. He opens the door, boom, Milo's there. And I lost it, Henry.
You're sold.
I yelped in the theater.
Really?
Yes.
Did the 14-year-olds yelp?
Well, I guess it was a loud theater, so it's like it didn't matter what I did. But like when that happened, it was like I was, I almost wanted to go like, woo!
Such a fucking TV nerd. Everybody probably, why is it, who's this guy with black hair on the screen that he yelled at for? Milo Ventimiglia? Who?
Come on, they know him from This Is Us.
They don't fucking know who he is. Yeah. No, that was cool. Yeah.
I was
all
pumped.
Right, 4 stars, fine.
4 stars. Who's your MVP?
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Because I don't remember who I gave it to in Creed, but I think I might have given it to Coogler. I'm not sure. I'm sure Madison will be checking that out.
Yeah.
I really don't recall. But Michael B. Jordan really, I mean, if I'm going outside the box, it's going to be the director for doing it, pulling it off, a great sequel. But Michael B. Jordan, like we said earlier, really is just fucking effortlessly owning this film.
But what happens if you go outside the bun?
Yo quiero.
I'll
say.
Who's your LVP, Henry? I mean, that's a tough one.
It is tough. I mean, if I'm going purely on who looked the worst.
Michael Buffer.
No, who's that?
You know, our Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. He's looking pretty rough these days.
No, I was going to say Brigitte.
Come on, get out of here.
But she's been through a lot.
But she looked perfect. I loved her in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I also got to say I thought Wood Harris was great.
I love Wood Harris in that role.
And I love him being, the son of Duke.
Yeah, totally. 100%, little Duke.
So good. I don't know, man. LVP. I mean,
I'll go with that sort of pseudo Don King figure. He's just okay.
oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. You know what? Also, that character is too muddled because they kind of don't give you much on him. Like you see him, he's in Russia. You're meant to imply a lot yourself, which is fine.
Well, I think he's just supposed to be self-interested, but I don't really care.
Right, I didn't either because he's almost unnecessary. I mean, you could have almost had any sort of connection to get these people together, and so it was kind of an easy cop out. Oh, let's just get like a Don King guy to search for fucking Drago. I mean, come on. I mean, was it pre-planned?
The introduction of Drago reminded me of the introduction of Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2, where it's just sort of like he's like waking up in this like hovel somewhere, like it's time for me to emerge into the world.
Right. Oh, that's actually a good point. Before we wrap up, we should mention. Well, I mean, what did you think? He doesn't have anything to do, but he's got some charisma. Not a lot. Drago's son.
I thought for what he was given in this movie, he was perfect. I felt genuine sympathy for him, which is all you can ask for.
I did too. But it's funny because you think about.
I hate casting real athletes as athletes in movies.
I'm not a fan either of that. Yeah. But it is funny because I couldn't even point that guy out in the lineup.
No, me neither. But it's sort of it's more about the visual than anything else. Him standing next to Ivan, the same way like it was about Ivan and Brigitte in Rocky IV.
It's true, but you always will remember Dolph Lundgren in Rocky IV forever. And if they would have gotten maybe someone even semi-famous who's just an actor who's like a big motherfucker, I don't know, that might have had it. But then again, this guy gives a really good. Emotive performance without much dialogue. So
good call.
I guess given what he's given, he's fine. Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
And I like that they got Ludwig Göransson, Kugler's regular guy, back to do the score.
It's a good score.
Yeah, he's good. That guy.
Yeah, it has the right amount of subtlety throughout most of the movie and ratchets it up.
Yeah, it can get histrionic when it needs to.
It's totally, but like a really calculated histrionic thing going on there, where it's not even histrionic to the point where it's just like blowing you away constantly. It's like right at the right moments, which I have to give credit to the editor. Of the movie too, for just figuring out kind of where to put that in.
Absolutely, Henry. Let's wrap up.
Let's wrap it up.
So we're both giving it a 4, and we have our MVPs and LVPs, and it's my third favorite Rocky movie and your second favorite.
That's right. Okay,
I have a superhero count here, courtesy of Danimal Control 6669.
Thank you, Danimal.
We have Sylvester Stallone, who was Starhawk in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and the titular Judge Dredd.
Obviously.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan was the Human Torch in Fantastic Four.
That's right.
As well as Black Panther. He was Killmonger.
So good in that movie.
Yeah. So he's the best Marvel villain.
Him and Loki.
Yeah. He was also Cyborg in Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. I love that anytime there's a black actor that's been in anything DC, they've always been either Cyborg or Black Green Lantern.
I was just gonna say, or Black Green Lantern. Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren's the Punisher.
That's right.
And he's also apparently, Henry, Nereus in Aquaman.
Yes, I heard about that. I won't be seeing that performance, but
I will eventually.
Are you really?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna skip over.
My man. Tessa Thompson was Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, as you alluded to. Wood Harris is in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also apparently Dredd.
That's right.
Other Judge Dredd. And Brigitte Nielsen was the titular Red Sonja.
That's right.
And Milo Ventimiglia played Wolverine in an animated thing. And also, I love that the Animal Control included this, played Peter Petrelli on Heroes.